Hello and welcome to Elkniodaphs Plays. Today we're playing uh, Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're doing the whole desert bus thing. That's a mini game from Pendulet's Smoke and Mirrors, an unreleased game. And the mini game tasks the player with driving a bus from Tucson, Arizona to Las Vegas, Nevada. That's normally an 8-hour ordeal, but today we're doing it in a plane. Um, we're doing it in a Diamond Aircraft DA-62, um, and it's gonna take us about 2 hours. It actually clocks in, the flight plan clocks in at an hour and 53 minutes, but I'm going to kind of meander about when I see anything interesting to look at. If there's any interesting geography. I have no idea what this is going to be. I didn't scout this ahead or anything like that. I have no idea what this is going to be. Um, I don't know. Frankly, I don't know how interesting this is going to be. It might be incredibly interesting, incredibly boring. At the very least, you're going to get some white noise out of it, and put it on and fall asleep. I mean, that sounds pretty good to me too. So let's go ahead and take off, and we'll see if this is anything. Flying to Las Vegas. I was mentioning this in my plans for this in Discord earlier today, and we're taking off from Tucson, by the way. This is Tucson International, airport code TUS. But I was mentioning this in Discord, my plans for this today, and I had incorrectly, a little windy out today, little windy. I had incorrectly mentioned that we would probably be getting into Las Vegas just after sunset. So we'd get to see the city all lit up. But I miscalculated. It'll still be quite, um, quite sunny out by the time we arrive in Las Vegas. But still, nonetheless, I think that this is a fun effort. So we'll just see how it goes. Put my landing gear up. Yeah, we're listing a bit because of the wind. That's fine. All right, so I'm not gonna be totally concerned with like regular air traffic control ATC protocol. I'm just gonna kind of we are like already headed in the right direction. We got McCarran International. That's the airport in Las Vegas, straight ahead of us. We were assigned to the right runway for this job. So basically, we are already well on our way. 314 nautical miles, and we can approach this at a pretty good clip. I have a couple of drinks here. I have some cough drops. I have a mid-flight snack. It's a peanut butter bar. So I am ready to go. I definitely want to get over these hills out here. So I'm interested in checking out interesting geography as we go.
Tucson approach Diamond 213 is type Diamond to 62, 5 miles northwest of Tucson, 3,200 feet. Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace.
So if I see anything interesting, I'll definitely fly over and check it out. You know, 90% of the time we're heading straight towards McCarran, though. I won't deviate too much, but you know, in the interest, uh, in an effort to keep this somewhat interesting, I will be,
Cleared through the
you
Bravo
know,
airspace time at 213.
dipping in and out of course just to kind of see what I can see. I feel that eventually we're gonna be. I mean, this is like, oh, rainbow. This is the kind of the heart of Tucson right here. So we
Going
are
228
still
decimal 5 diamond 213.
definitely
Tucson
seeing
approach diamond 213,
a lot of
3,900 feet.
neighborhood
Diamond
activity
213,
out
Tucson
here.
approach altimeter
A
tree
golf
0 decimal
course.
06, continue as planned.
Um, but there's going to be long stretches where there's like nothing. Yeah, and we'll just kind of see what we can see. Some rain clouds over there. This is live weather, by the way. So live time, live weather. So if we pass through any rain clouds from Tucson to Vegas, that's because it's really raining in those areas. Interestingly enough, I've been playing this all week, and I still have a lot to learn about the ins and outs. But interestingly enough, I haven't had any unclear weather yet. It's all been clear. I've been playing this all week. I probably have about 10, 15 hours into it, and it's all been clear. Um, I've been flying mostly in the United States. I did fly in Mexico for a little bit, checking out various islands around Mexico, and that was a lot of fun. There's areas in Mexico that are so carpeted with trees that is literally all you can see. It's a completely flat horizon, and it's all trees. It's amazing.
Diamond 213, contact
I
Tucson
feel that
approach
that's the
119
area where like
decimal.
you find those cenotes, the holes in the
119
ground
decimal
that are
4
like
for diamond
the
213.
reservoirs of
Tucson
water.
approach diamond 213,
Um,
3,900 feet. Diamond
I don't
213,
know
Tucson approach altimeter tree 0 decimal 06,
uh,
continue as planned.
how accurate the geography of this game is in regards to things such as cenotes or any kind of underground geography. I don't. I think this is largely based on satellite imagery. So if you were to find a cenote in the game, it probably wouldn't be hollow in the earth. It would be interesting to see, though. I should probably check that out. At the very least, there might be like like a very well known cenote that we might be able to find. Not here in this stream, but if I were to be flying around Mexico. But let's see. I'm kind of looking out in the distance. I see a kind of a vast patch of could be water. There's probably not any huge lakes out here. I wouldn't imagine that there would be, but I see some shine out there. I don't know what that's about. Let's go check out that shine. See, this is what I was talking about. If I see anything interesting, I'm gonna head out and look at it. I don't know what that is. Could be some kind of I don't know. Maybe they harvest some particular kind of clay or earth from that area for some reason. These very long roads out here that just kind of go on forever. This is a very sparsely populated neighborhood here. It's interesting to see. I was flying over Los Angeles earlier today, and I was struck by how incredibly densely packed all the neighborhood was. But out here, it's like the opposite. Like it's this huge sprawl. Um, like everybody has like you know like their own acre. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, what is this? This is some kind of quarry, I suppose. It's interesting. A lot of it's like a lot of kind of intersecting and flowing roads. Um, I can definitely imagine lots of you know um, trucks coming in and out of here. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm guessing it's some kind of quarry. And then this is a this is some kind of water feature, isn't it? This is interesting. Following a water feature. I thought this was a road at first, but this is definitely a water feature. Looks like we have some farmland out here. Almost surprising to see. I wonder what they'd be farming out in Arizona. Vast, vast farm. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Vast farmlands. I wonder what this is. Could be corn. I bet you corn would grow out here. And various warehouses for storage and such. That is a lot of corn. So that water feature must pull from some reservoir somewhere to feed the farm. That's got to be what it is, right? And there's more farmland out here. I mean, we're just getting started, but I'm definitely like anticipating that moment where there's nothing, not even farmlands. We'll get there. This has got to be a different kind of crop because it's a completely different color. This could be wheat, maybe. And then there's more farmlands out there. Look at that. Man, it is vast. And then the water feature continues. Hmm. Incredibly vast farmlands. You can follow this, yeah, wow, look how far it goes out. That's like miles and miles and miles and miles of farmlands. And we're going to be flying over farmlands for like the next 10 minutes. It's incredible. And so much production comes out of this area, apparently. I never would have guessed. There's people that live out here and that's like all they do. There's a guy that lives in that house right there. That house. And he's out there every day getting your corn for you. He got a pool though. At least he gets to relax after his daily routine. We got some rain clouds off to the right. I'm getting, man, this is gonna age me a little bit, but I'm getting north by northwest vibes out here, man. Gotta hop in that biplane and run some fools down. Man, I'm almost getting vertigo by how vast these farmlands are. It's kind of incredible. I can't believe I'm still flying over them. We have, what is that? Is that the reservoir where all the water's coming out of? and all. Final. Is that water? No, that's like, what is that? Oh, it's an airport. I couldn't tell. Hmm. It'll be interesting to see if there's some crop circles in this game. That's a beautiful shot right there. More farmlands. I'm gonna be getting alerts like that. I don't really care. I don't know enough about the game yet to fix that, but I don't really care. I'm looking for crop circles. Um, but yeah, I find the whole process of getting from point A to point B in a flight simulator, like, it's kind of meditative. I, um, I kind of like the experience of just doing this mundane thing and seeing it through. Like, I'm not even flying anywhere, like, fancy. You know what I mean? Like, I could be checking out the pyramids. I could be flying through some, like, rock arches in, like, Arizona, Niagara Falls. I haven't done any of that stuff yet. I find the mundane stuff fascinating. I've been flying over my home neighborhood. I've been uh, checking out neighborhoods where I have family. I've been flying over islands. I haven't done any of like the typical stuff yet, and I honestly can't believe we're still flying over farmlands. This is insane. Like it's like like just there's something that's happening in my brain where I'm seeing the vastness of these farmlands, and it's like overwhelming me to the point where I'm looking at them and I'm feeling like vertigo from it. I don't even know if that makes any sense, but something's happening in my brain where I'm completely like bewildered by the size of all of this. It's quite incredible. There's some interesting growth patterns on this mountainside. That wouldn't be a mountain, would it? I guess it's a mountain. Is that a mountain? It's like from way up here it seems moss-like. Like those are probably some kind of bush overgrowth, some kind of bramble. But just from far away it looks very moss-like, unreal. It's like uncanny. Like I'm getting uncanny vibes from this. You know what I mean? Is that a little tiny? Was that like a little lake or like is it a rock? I don't know what that is. A little lake, I guess. A couple more. Yeah, there must be little tiny lakes just dotted around here and there. It could be like this existential thing where like I'm just seeing the vastness of uh, of the country, and like I'm having some kind of crisis about it. Do you know what I mean? Like if I was flying past buildings or something, I would probably have a different sensation. But just like the 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 incredible vastness of this is I don't know, it's quite disconcerting
Diamond
if I'm
21
being
contact
honest.
Albuquerque Center on 125.4. Good day.
My
125
original
Diamond 21 tree.
idea.
Albuquerque Center, Diamond 21 tree,
Got
3,300
some
feet.
radio chatter.
Diamond 213 Albuquerque, center altimeter, 29 decimal feet, 7 continue as planned.
My original idea for this series, I guess I'm going to be doing these here and there, was to the whole thing would be autopilot. Like, I don't have autopilot on right now, but my original idea was the whole thing would be autopilot, and it would just kind of be this meditative experience where I play old time radio. Like, there's a series I like called Suspense, and I had this idea where I would call the series Flights of Suspense, and I'd set up like a 2-hour flight plan, say for instance from Tucson to Las Vegas, and because the episodes are half an hour, I'd play 4 episodes of Suspense. I'll call it Flights of Suspense. But the problem was, even though I had all the hardware, I had all the right hardware, I hooked it up. I was going to do like a direct connection. It wouldn't be like I put my microphone next to a speaker or anything like that. I wanted, if I'm doing something, I want to do it right. So I pulled out all my hardware, I set it all up, and I tested it out, and it just didn't work. There's like this weird static feedback, and it just didn't work. So I scrapped it, very unfortunately, but I think ultimately this is the better thing, because I think commentary is the way to go. Let's fly down and check out this little farmstead. Can you imagine living there, in that farmstead right there, and no matter which direction you look out your window, there's nothing but fields? It's all rather disconcerting. I don't think I'd be able to handle it. I don't know how these people do it. You know what? Playing this right now and seeing all this out here, this vast nothingness, all there is farm. I have an incredible, newly found respect for farmers. This is insane. These people put themselves in the harshest environment and do nothing but live to farm. It's incredibly vast. It's I'm getting like this uncanny sensation of just like this existential realization that not how small we are. Like that's like that's such a common thing to feel that way. But just like no matter how far I go, there's just more of it. Although I say that, and I think it's starting to kind of die down. These look like dead fields out here. Like these aren't working fields. Although I see some way in the distance, kind of a reddish hue, maybe about, I want to say 15 miles out, 10 miles out. Kind of a copperish hue out there, way out there. Those might be some living fields. And then we have some coming up here that seem to follow this road. This road that goes out west. I like to see a farmer with a pool. I see that pool down there. I like to see a farmer with a pool. That's like a little neighborhood. They probably like each one of those houses probably has like a farmer working that like specializes, like he's got his own field. Like I'm working the field, like I'm working like Johnny's got field A, Timmy's got field B. Like every house does like the next field over. And now we have like this highway here. This is probably the highway that Desert Bus takes place on, right? I might be able to follow this all the way to Las Vegas. I have no idea what road this is. But it seems like a pretty major highway for being out in the middle of nowhere. So this is probably the road. I mean, I had a feeling that, I mean, there's got to be a road from Tucson to Las Vegas. There's got to be. I mean, there's a whole game based on that concept, right? So, assuming this is the road, I could theoretically follow this road all the way out to McCarran. But I see up here that it turns north. Well, it seems to keep going northwest for a ways, but it looks like like oh, this is like not exactly a turnpike. What is this? Huge warehouse there. Probably store all your corn in that one warehouse. That is the nation's corn house. Yeah, it kind of splits off. I don't know which one. Like if I was gonna follow that way, or if I was gonna follow this way. I mean, this way is still going northwest, which is the direction I need to go to get to McCarran International. Yeah. And then we got that water feature again. You know, this has to be a man-made water feature, right? That kind of zigzags through all of these farmlands. Look out in the distance. There's more farmlands. This is incredible. I mean, I always knew that, like, farmlands were vast, but this is insane. Another farmer with a pool. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it, man. He probably just sinks into that pool after work and it feels so good and cool. That's what you gotta do, man. You gotta take care of yourself. Yeah, oh, we got like a whole neighborhood here. So we're getting back into like some kind of semblance of like normal. Oh man, I hesitate to call it suburbia. Because this isn't the suburbia you think of when you think of suburbia, right? Suburbia, you're thinking California, you're thinking Florida, you're thinking those picket fences. That's not what this is, man. This is harsh out here. This is rough. You know, one thing I've noticed playing Flight Simulator is there's a lot of baseball fields around. There's a lot of like look, there's one right now, right? Baseball field over there. But just being out here and seeing kind of the the lack of what is plentiful in other places. Like if I'm flying through Florida, I'm seeing I'm seeing a baseball field like every half mile. Out here, man, these people are too busy working to be messing around with baseball. Oh, we got like a whole traditional neighborhood here. Like, that's a cute little neighborhood. You know, when I started this stream, I wasn't expecting the existential crisis. I really wasn't. I don't know how that came on. But look at Mr. Richie Rich right in the middle of that neighborhood with the biggest house in the pool. You know what? That's probably like a community center, actually. This looks like a really, really poorly kept golf course. Yeah, this is... Hey man, we got golf out here, but it sucks. You know, I've been planning when Dune comes out, the movie, 2001, comes out in October. I'm kind of planning a 2-hour flight over the desert, but now I don't know if I can handle it, man. Like it's too much. Can you imagine a 2-hour flight over the desert? I feel like who's that actor that was in that movie? That really nails it down, doesn't it? What is this? This is kind of a scary feature, isn't it? What is this? This isn't a quarry here. I don't know what this is. What is this? This is really strange. I have no idea what this is. Man, there's a lot of crazy stuff out here, dude. You know what? This might be like a quarry that like collapsed. I don't know what that is. And then we have this big dirt rectangle. You know, this could be someone preparing a field, right? Or maybe this is just a dead one that like, yeah, because I see a lot of pathing on it. So somebody definitely worked this at one point, but it seemed like they might be like transitioning that field into something else. Like we don't need any corn anymore. What we need now is wheat. It's interesting kind of flying over this and trying to figure out what stuff is. See, this is what I was hoping for. I wanted to like see little details and just kind of imagine what they were. But back to Dune, right? I'm really excited about Dune. Really looking forward to the movie. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun? I streamed for 2 hours. So wouldn't it be fun to plan a 2-hour flight over the desert? Like, imagine the existential crisis I'm feeling right now. But I don't know if the desert would make it worse or better. Like if I'm literally flying over sand dunes and like, you know, like rocky outcroppings and such. I think I'd be better with that because like no one's really living out there. I mean, some people might be living out there, but I'm not going to like pass a neighborhood and then fly for 30 minutes before I get to another neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like out in the desert, it's going to feel more like a video game. Out in the desert, it's going to feel more like Dune. So I don't think I'll have the same issues with just like dune after dune after dune after dune desert. But man, this is crazy. I can't believe how. Look, now we got more fields. This is really something. Like a tour of the earth. Man. That like water hole thing though. What was that? What was that about? Can't really see it anymore. Yeah, we have some interesting geography here. Uh, Looks like it could. Is it possible that someone built themselves a little racetrack? Probably not. It probably has. I don't know what the ins and outs of farming. I'm sure having a yarn ball of track like that does something, but I can't imagine what it does. You got the 3 circles there. 3 circles. Gotta get your circles. You gotta get your circles. I was kind of worried this wasn't going to be interesting, but it's kind of interesting. Here's another little neighborhood. It'll be super interesting in the desert, like doing a 2-hour flight over a desert. Like, I'm not going to look ahead of time. I'm not going to try to figure out an interesting place to be. I'm literally going to like look up where they filmed Dune, and then go to that spot, and then fly for 2 hours. That's all it's going to be. That's the stream. These circle ones. Now these are sugar, right? That's sugar. I'm surprised sugar would grow out here, but yeah, the circle ones I'm pretty sure are sugar. You know what? And honestly, I'm probably wrong about everything. Probably wrong about everything. And then you got this water feature again. This has got to be man-made. Like, I mean, obviously it is, but like, what is the source? I'd be interested to kind of fly out and just follow this thing and just see what the source is. What is the source of this water feature? It's incredible. I'm starting to feel more comfortable here. In the back of my head, I was like, "Oh my God, I have," you know, a few minutes ago, I was like, "I have 240 nautical miles left. How am I going to do this?" But but no, it's fine. I waited in line for the Xbox 360 once for 17 hours. I made it in the newspaper and everything. I guess you know what? It's kind of starting to feel more like a movie. You know what I mean? Like I'm like in that. What is the name of the guy that was in that movie? This is gonna bother me. That ER guy. He was in that movie with the desert and the plane. I hesitate to look it up because if I look away, there's gonna be like a gust of wind and I'm just gonna crash. Is that guy? He like discovered South Park. Ed? No. Why can't I think of his name? I'm too busy having an existential crisis to think of some random actor's name. Look at all this, look at the little, like, man-made island here. Interesting. Yeah, see, now this is more along the lines of what I was expecting. I was not expecting all those farmlands. I mean, that was insane. That was really quite something. You know what? Beautiful country out here. I I don't think that people really look at you know, Arizona and Nevada in this way and see the beauty of it. Like, you know, I think you know what? We're getting closer to the source of that water feature. I'm not going to follow it because that would put me too much off course. But oh look, I think we got more farmland. Jesus Christ. Um, but yeah, beautiful country, man. I see now every now and then you see like I see these lines, like these lines down there, left to right, these lines. What are those? I can't tell what those are. And like you see those kind of like I can follow this one, right? Like I can get right above it. What exactly are these lines that you see over geography that don't really seem to have like isn't an old road? I'm right above it now. Like I'm right above this line. I'm going to line up with it. What is that? You kind of see them everywhere. Like it's not even just like isolated to like, you know, these you know, vast stretches of geography. Like you'll see, you know, like in the United States, you'll see them everywhere. I don't know what that is. Must be some like really old road. Santa Cruz. That's a name I know. Must be must be a neighborhood out there. Yeah, if you're just joining the stream, thanks for checking out the stream. I'm doing the desert bus thing. I'm flying from Tucson, Arizona to Las Vegas, Nevada. This would normally be an 8-hour bus ride, but in a plane, it takes 2 hours. And yeah, I'm about 40 minutes in, so it's been quite a ride so far. I'm actually kind of surprised at how it's been coming along. Yeah, what are these lines? Like you see them everywhere. Like these lines here.
119 decimal 2 for Diamond
They got to be
213.
old roads.
Phoenix approach Diamond 213,
And you see another
2,200
water.
feet.
You see a couple water features out here. That one on the left is definitely. It's. I don't know if it seems like parts of it are manipulated by man, but I don't think it's man-made wholly. And then you got this one, some kind of reservoir up here that we're going to be flying over. I keep an eye out for pools. I know farmers love their pools. Man, I just can't imagine living out here. We got a little neighborhood here. Big water feature. Probably not potable. That's probably a grocery store. Little shopping district. It's incredible to see like the little pockets of civilization. Like we flew over like literally uh, like 50 miles of nothing but like wheat fields and
125
cornfields
decimal
and stuff.
45 Diamond
And then you see
213.
like
Luke approach Diamond
a little
213,
neighborhood with
2,300 feet.
like a grocery store, and man, and then there's more farmland. I like the horizon. It's a very nice like it's like mountainous, but subtle. It's not like in your face like the Rockies or something. It's just like a nice, like way out in the distance, you see like the undulating mountainous horizon, and it's very peaceful and serene. Um, so yeah, I kind of based this stream, of course, on uh, Penn and Teller's Desert Bus game. Figured it takes 8 hours to do that in a bus. I can do it in 2 in a plane. And you know, uh, I picked a very I picked a very specific plane because I wanted to get there in 2 hours. I wanted it to be like pretty much exactly 2 hours. Um, so Maricopa Colony, we must be in Maricopa County. I know there is much consternation over the counting of ballots in that county. Um, but, uh, but yeah, getting back to civilization here, and lots of lots of little tiny neighborhoods. Like you see like a neighborhood of 10 houses here, and a neighborhood of like 15 houses over there. And there's a guy driving on the road down there. And we have huge water feature out here. Very interesting water feature. Kind of just, I can't tell what the purpose of that is. Lots of U shapes, and almost what look like cul-de-sacs. Like it's like there should be houses out here. Like these look like roads with cul-de-sacs, but then it's just flooded. It's strange. It is a strange one. And then here we go. This is a big neighborhood out here. some baseball fields over there. If this were Florida, I would have passed 50 baseball fields by now. We have some kind of, I'm guessing some kind of civic center down there. Um, that's probably a grocery store. That's probably another grocery store. Yeah, see, this is where farming and suburbia meet. Like this is like the dead intersection of farming and suburbia. So it looks like that's probably another baseball field. So one of these is probably a school, right? Like like there's got to be a lot of schools around. What's this? This is interesting. Kind of a sidewinding road between these buildings. Strange. Maybe some kind of auditorium. Some venue, concert venue perhaps.
Going to 118.15 diamond 21
Huge
tree.
building over here. Let's fly
Approach
over and check it
diamond
out.
21 tree 2,000 feet.
Parts of that look like a golf course. More baseball fields.
125.45
Baseball
diamond 21
diamonds.
tree.
Okay, so this huge building is probably just kind of like grain storage or something. Because we are in the midst of farmlands. Although they kind of... It's like for every farmland there's like a little neighborhood. But yeah, we're getting back into like major population center. I mean, for out here, this is major. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not New York or anything, but out in the middle of the desert, there's a lot of houses for out in the middle of the desert. And then you got another golf course. This is a nicely maintained golf course, it seems. We passed a golf course about 20 minutes ago that was like in such a state of disrepair. And some more baseball diamonds. 3 of them out here. A little office in the middle. Grocery store right there, probably. More baseball diamonds. I'm looking for rallies. Where's the nearest rallies? There's a, that's got to be a foot race, like a track and field. More baseball diamonds. It's probably some kind of auditorium. Bet you Slipknot played there. I don't know. And back to the farmlands. Man, this is incredible. The farmlands. Like, it's never ending. We've got a runway here. Luke's runway. That's where he hangs out when he's not out at Tashi Station looking for power converters. Little neighborhood over here. Always keeping an eye out for farmers that have pools, because you know that they enjoy dipping into the pool after a hard day of work on the farm. God, you know, I gotta hand it to Penn and Teller, dude. To come up with something like this, but to make it last 4 times as long, these dudes are crazy, man. And then they do that. The group does a charity with that game every year, where they play Desert Bus and stream it, and people make donations and stuff. I think they raised like, I don't even want to. It's like either 7 million or 70 million. huge difference between those numbers. But I know there was a 7. It's either 7 million or 70 million. I'm gonna play it conservative and say it was 7 million. But hey, man, $7 million to play a game for 8 hours? That's pretty good. So I'm seeing a few pools down here. There's like 3 in a row. Wow, a bunch of pools right around here. These people like their pools. Man, I can imagine. You know how hot it must get out here? You gotta have a pool. I wouldn't want to live out here without a pool. It looks like we have a really big water feature out here. This is like a major river. This is probably where like all of the water for the farms come from, right? And they filter them into these aqueducts and just feed them into the deep parts of the state. But yeah, this is probably where all your water's coming from. God, you know, being out here and seeing this, can you imagine if that dried up? How screwed we would all be. God, it's like it's it's a sobering thought. Like how much you know, depends on these farmers getting the water that they need for their crops. Man, you kind of see things differently when you're flying over it. And we're gonna crest over these smallish mountains, see what's on the other side. We're gonna gain some altitude. Man, what a nightmare this would be to drive. I wonder if that's based on a real route. Like, is there a guy that drives every day from Tucson, Arizona to Las Vegas, Nevada? That's his job. He just does it. It's an 8-hour drive. And in the game, you have to drive back, too. So that's 16 hours. That's a whole day. That's not even like a day's worth of work. That's like 2 days worth of work. So I would imagine if someone is making that route, which I doubt, but if someone is, they probably spend the night at the place that they arrive, right? So if you're that bus driver and you're leaving Tucson, Arizona to go to Las Vegas, Nevada, and you're driving for 8 hours. You get to Las Vegas, and then maybe you have like a place that you can crash and then make the return trip the next day. And maybe there's a guy that does the opposite. So while you're leaving Tucson, Arizona, there's a guy that's leaving Las Vegas. And like you pass each other at the 4-hour mark. You know what I'm saying? And you just go back and forth like that each day. And then that's how you work this route. But it's probably not as complicated as that. I don't expect that there's an 8-hour bus route. That would be insane. It's got to be this thing where maybe it's a 2-hour route, and then you get on a different bus, and then that's a 2-hour route, and so on. But man, I wouldn't know. I don't ride public transportation. I know buses do go crazy distances. So who knows? But it doesn't seem like the thing that would run daily. So yeah, we're about at the halfway point. There's more aqueducts, probably siphoning off of that water source. We're diverting so much water away from that source that you have to wonder, like, what would this landscape look like? For better or worse, I don't know, if we had just left it alone. but then we couldn't all live. We couldn't all live out here. You know what I'm saying? Looks like we have. You know what? This looks like the remnants of like a dead neighborhood. It looks like there used to be stuff out here. I can't really tell. It looks like there used to be stuff out here and it's just dead now. Let's get a closer look. Yeah, this is like the farm that failed. Still a bunch of houses out here and stuff though. I wonder, um, like someone that would live out here, and then you go slightly more to the northwest, and there's like a higher population center. You probably like make the drive every day. Like, oh, I'm going into wherever this is. I'm going into town, sweetie. I'm gonna stop by the market and pick up some couple loaves of bread. Look at this. This is like a triangle feature out here. I kind of want to go in and see what that's about. It's like a triangle that points north. I would almost guess that this is like 3 runways. That's interesting. Isn't that weird? What is that? There's like there's no buildings around it or anything. This is just a triangle. Man, Earth is weird. I mean, this is clearly something that someone made, I guess, as a byproduct of some kind of farming out here or something, but that is weird. Just a triangle. Man, see, this is what I was hoping for. I knew I'd see a lot of weird stuff. Just taking a 2-hour flight in real time from like one major city to another. Just all this like there's all these like little like arterial roads out here just winding their way between neighborhoods that like frankly it's amazing that anyone can even live out here. And then you have these little roads connecting them, and this looks like it's probably like a dry river, right? Like this definitely used to be a river, and it's just dry now. We probably siphoned all the water off of that one and then had to switch. Find a new water source. Man, we might be getting into like nothing territory. I keep thinking that, but man, humans are just kind of everywhere, aren't we? I'm looking ahead and I'm thinking there's nothing past those hills. But man, there's going to be like a house out there. Like some crazy idiot is living out there. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, more power to you. I don't know how you could do it. But yeah, this is a dry river here. We're seeing more of it winding through these hills. Yeah, there's a little house down there. Just literally in the middle of nowhere. Someone lived or lives in that one house. Doesn't even look like it's connected to anything. Then we have like, what is this, an apartment complex? We have like a little apartment complex out here. Like a 4-story apartment complex. How are you going to get that many people? It's crazy that like little houses are dotting this landscape. And there's nothing here. What compels a person to literally pick the middle of nowhere to live? Like, I get the appeal, but man, you got to be able to get groceries and stuff. Like, if you lived in that little house right there, you'd have to drive 4 hours to get to the store to buy an orange. Why would you do that? And this isn't even like next to farmland. Like these people aren't like these people like specifically the last few houses I passed over. They're not close enough to uh, to like any viable farmland to be living off the land themselves. Who are they dependent upon? It blows my mind. But people live out here. It's impressive. All right, I'm gonna crack open this Mountain Dew. This is my mid-flight refreshment. I got a peanut butter bar too, waiting on standby. Yeah, this is it. We are past civilization now. There's I really don't foresee passing any houses or anything for quite some time, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to see any weird stuff out here, man. We'll be looking for more triangles, more round pits of water that just appear inexplicably in the middle of the desert as an oasis. And then we see another dry river. This is a little one. This is a tiny little river.
Squawk 1200.
So you see a river like this, and you know that humans build their settlements next to water sources. So as we go along, we might start seeing like some old, remnants of neighborhoods and such. Maybe neighborhoods that haven't existed for 100 years, 200 years. I imagine that a lot of people passed through here on their way to California during the gold rush. And, maybe, I'm not a historian, I don't know how long ago exactly that was, but several hundred years ago, you get little pockets of civilization out here, and maybe you still see, like the foundations or whatever. And that would probably be next to a river, if I were to guess. But that's impressive too. Could you imagine, like, taking a wagon train that far from the East Coast to the West Coast, wagon train? That's incredible commitment, and even more incredible than just living out here in the first place. Especially in modern times. In modern times, you get yourself a Tesla, you program it to drive you to the airport, you fall asleep in the back, reading the new James Patterson or whatever, and you wake up at the airport, book a flight to, a place where people can live comfortably, and hey, I got a little lake over here. But man, back in the day, can't imagine it. The land is kind of taking on a yellowish hue out here. Must be some kind of must be rich in some kind of like sodium rich or something. Sodium rich would probably make it whiter, would make it yellow. Spice. Spice must flow. We got worm sign at the lake. I did Mud Runner back in the day. I did like 13, 14 episodes of Mud Runner, each about 2 hours. And this thing started happening where because of the mundane nature of your mud runner type games where you're just driving a truck from point A to point B and dealing with like the geography of the area. Um, you kind of start to run out of stories to tell. Um, so like I found myself talking about like a sandwich I had or like some anime I liked or some podcasts I listened to because like it just becomes so mundane that you search your brain to come up with things to talk about. And then you get to this point where you begin to sound like a crazy person. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I'm there yet. But I will tell you this: I did have an excellent sandwich today. It was a ham sandwich with like a pimento spread, and I didn't realize this at first. It just the package just said ham and pimento, so I was thinking it was going to be like like a kind of spicy, olivey ham thing, but it was a pimento spread. I didn't think I would like it, but I gotta tell you, man, it's pretty good. It's kind of like a spicy egg salad, which also doesn't sound too great. And there's some more yellow sand. You see the stark contrast. See, I wonder if that is like a legitimate feature, or because this uses satellite images uh, in the way it renders these environments, if that is perhaps a problem with some of the satellite images. Maybe it was taken at a different time of day or something, so the lighting is different. I bet you that's what it is. It's probably not actually that color in real life, because that's a stark contrast. I mean, that's like a straight line. I think that has to do with the way the satellite image was taken during a different time of day or something. A little lake there. Yeah, I'm not seeing any houses out here. I did kind of suspect that there would be like one house out here in the middle of nowhere, probably owned by a pilot, right? Because then a pilot could, I feel like escaping to my summer house for the week, and then he'll fly out here. He knows where it is, you know. No one else knows where it is. But yeah, if I did see one lone house way out here, I would imagine it would probably belong to a pilot. Because how else could you even get out here? Like routinely, like regularly, how else could you get out here? Is that's that aqueduct, isn't it? Wow, that's something. That's going somewhere, man. Oh, there's probably like a little Eagle Roost Air Park. Hmm. All right. These little tiny lakes, you see them everywhere out here. It's just little tiny lakes that it's amazing that they're not dry. How can that lake survive when like all the little rivers and such around it are dried up? And you see like little roads leading to like intersecting by the lake. Like those are old roads, that like probably you'd follow in the wagon train and oh, there's a lake out there. Sonny Jim told me there's a lake out there. You just keep on heading west and you'll find it. Just stay on the road. And then that lake still survives today, incredibly. Congress Airport. When I do my desert stream in October, when Dune comes out, it's gonna be very interesting to see if there's any like airports around. Like I don't even know. Like they might have filmed that in Tunisia or something. I don't know where they filmed it. And there's another little tiny lake. Um, but uh, it's going to be interesting to see if there's anything out there, like airport wise, or like I'm not expecting to see like neighborhoods, but I might see uh, like a runway out there or airport. But what what practical business sense does it make to build an airport 400 miles out into the desert? The only thing I can think of is for movie crews to fly out and film. That's all I can think of. Um, I mean, you gotta have a place to land. You're filming a movie out in the desert. You want to go to Tunisia or whatever. You're gonna need a place to land all your planes, equipment, and probably like a little hotel out there too. Like because these pampered celebrities, they don't want to be out in the desert. It's too hot. They need a nice hotel, luxury resort in the middle of nowhere, 400 miles every direction of just nothing but sand dunes and rocky outcroppings. But you're going to want that hotel with the air conditioning and the room service and the boiled goose and champagne or whatever. You're gonna wrap your movie. You're gonna go back to the hotel. You're gonna bust open that champagne, and you're gonna fly out of there back to Hollywood, where, by the way, I was flying around earlier today. I actually didn't even know. I was cresting over the hill with the Hollywood sign, but I was on the back side of it. And I went over the hill. I was like, oh, there's that. I didn't even realize that was the hill. And then, of course, I saw it's very famous, uh, uh, you know, uh, geographical uh, pattern, that particular hill. I could probably recognize it if you showed me a silhouette of it. But I was seeing it in reverse, so I didn't know. Little tiny lake over there. And then we have a little river here, which I completely missed and didn't even say anything about. Little river. Yeah, so about 150 nautical miles left to go. And then we have another, I'm going to start calling these wagon train roads. The road out there. Remnants, gold rush remnants. And it's going to start getting, man, looking behind what we flew over, there's just nothing out here. I'm still thinking that I might find a crazy person's house, just or the remnants of an old west town, foundations or whatnot. But man, there is nothing out here. I enjoy seeing the patterns of the trees, though. They kind of form in lines. It's interesting to see, because obviously that must have to do with some kind of um, geography that I'm not privy to. There's a little lake, all these tiny little lakes everywhere. Yeah, the way the trees kind of form around in these patterns. It's cool. It's cool to see. And then we're getting into something over here. Denser tree coverage. Hills, lots of hills out here. The clouds in this game look pretty good. We were passing some rain clouds about an hour and 15 minutes ago. Not anymore. Man, it is dry out here. No precipitation. I mean, way out in the distance we can see some clouds, but those those types of clouds aren't going to be raining anytime soon. But yeah, look, there's a lot of hills out here. This is a this is very rough terrain out here. So you're not going to find anybody living out here. You know, I mean, maybe Elon Musk wants to launch some rockets from out here or something. You might find like a research center or something. Like that's the only kind of thing that's going to be out here is like some remote research center with like a helicopter pad. You know, there does seem to be a kind of, I think that's a dry river. It almost looked like a old road for a second, but I think that's another dry river. Yeah, because you see the way it cuts through those hills there. That's definitely a dry river. Man, I wonder what this place looked like a million years ago. Probably totally lush and green, rivers everywhere. Like, look how wide that river gets out there. Like, there used to be water flowing through that. This is an untamed wilderness, man. And now it's just like, it's just dry and barren. All these little striations, these dry river striations. I think I'm using that word in proper context. And you know, water over time cuts its way through these peaks into these valleys and forms little lakes. That's probably how all these little tiny lakes got here. Like a million years ago, these little tiny rivers created these little tiny lakes, and they probably used to be much bigger. They probably weren't always little tiny lakes. They probably used to be very big lakes. That just man, evaporated over time. We have like a little like valley here. It seems like a little crater valley. It'd be a nice place to build a little town. You know what I'm saying? Put something in there. Stick a Walmart in there. Ruin the neighborhood before you even build it. And cresting over this peak, and we'll see what's on the other side. More sandy hills. Imagine that. You know, it's going to be quite the moment when we actually get to Las Vegas. We're going to start seeing civilization come back. You know, like we're in that in-between area where we're past anything that resembles Tucson and not quite at anything that resembles Las Vegas. We're in that in-between area. There's nothing. I don't know why, but I wasn't expecting to see an area this undulating, this hilly. You know, I wasn't expecting that. And now, of course, we see some very large hills coming into focus out there on the horizon. And beyond that, past the haze, we see even larger ones. You know, these are features that you know, make it on the postcards there. So we might start seeing something. More dry rivers. Man, there used to be a lot of water out here. Rivers. You never would think that rivers would be so plentiful, like literally everywhere. Like you're out here and you can just like point in any direction and there used to be a river there. Look, another river. Um, Rivers aren't really all that commonplace anymore. Like, driving around Florida, um, I barely ever see any rivers. Flying over California, no rivers. But this is all natural landscape. I think I see some water reflecting the sunlight back there. That might be a river that's still active. Yeah, I think it's starting to come into view. I think we're about to come across another water feature. I almost picked a slower plane. I'm really glad I didn't do that. Um, I like this plane for this purpose. I feel like, oh, hold on, my cat. Come here. Don't go behind the TV. Are you crazy? I feel like this plane is kind of perfect for this kind of exercise because it moves at a good speed to be able to see things and comment on them, and um, you don't want things to pass by too fast. I could get in a commercial airliner and do 500 miles per hour, but then you miss everything, and you're flying at 30,000 feet. You're not going to see anything. You want to see the stuff. You want to fly over the neighborhoods. You want to see if there's some crazy idiot living out here in this exact spot. You want to look at the tiny lakes, little tiny lakes that just dot the area, the environment out here. There's an airport over there. See, that tells me that we're getting somewhere. There's an airport. It's probably not a big airport, probably not a well-known airport, but there's an airport. 10 nautical miles away. So, I mean, we're gonna get back into where civilization might be in a little bit. And I mean, we're still seeing. Oh, I was gonna say dry river, but that river looks like it's got some water in it. Yeah, it's reflecting the sun, and then it looks like it kind of peters off because this is not a flowing river. Little tiny bit of water. It goes a good distance back. That used to be quite a long river. I think my cat is behind the TV again. Hey. Hey, come here. Okay. Crash the plane after 84 minutes of flying because my cat went behind the TV. Yeah, cruising at an altitude of 400 feet. I usually fly the Cessnas. I can't remember the name of this plane, but I usually fly the Cessnas, and I've had great luck with them. I played Flight Simulator back in the day. I don't remember which particular one it was. It's about 20 years ago. And I used to set up huge flights. Like this 2-hour thing is nothing. I used to set up like 5-hour flights, 6-hour flights, and just go state to state. But this is on a whole different level. I mean, the level of detail that we're seeing here is leagues ahead of the old flight simulator that I used to play. But I still had a lot of fun setting up these flights and playing them in real time. You know, maybe sticking the autopilot on and taking a break once in a while. But I'm not using autopilot on this one. This is all me. No autopilot. Yeah. What happened to that airport? I was passing an airport on the right. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's just right there. Yeah, it looks like we're getting into some planes action. Not planes, but like rolling planes, you know what I'm saying? I'm headed straight on, man. I'm going straight to Las Vegas. It's right in front of me. I kind of want to deviate a little bit and check out that kind of winding, uh, looks like another dry river. But, man, I got dry rivers for miles. You want dry rivers? I got dry rivers. They're all around. I don't need to go out of my way to look at one. I got them right here. Get a little altitude over this guy. You know, I have this fear of completely botching the landing. Like, I'm on a 2-hour flight. I'm doing this thing in real time. I'm gonna get to the airport and I'm gonna like get a gust of wind or forget to put my landing gear down or something like that, you know? Yeah, I mean, look forward to that because I probably will botch the landing. It's gonna be the opposite of a payoff. So be ready for that. This is I'm gonna do maybe 10 of these. This is the first one. I wanted to pick this one because of Desert Bus. This was the first one. It's mundane on purpose. If I do it again, I am going to pick something, an area of the world that's a little more interesting. It's just I really want to do Desert Bus in a plane first, and then any subsequent streams that I do with Flight Simulator, they're all going to be 2 hours, you know, maybe 1.5, 2 hours. That ballpark. But they'll be more interesting because I'll specifically pick out things that are interesting. Except, of course, for the desert one, which, you know, will be around when Dune comes out on HBO Max for streaming. That's gonna also be quite mundane. But I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think that maybe that'll be the last one. The first one and the last one are mundane. It's a mundane sandwich. Everything exciting is in the middle, just like a sandwich. Kind of like the sandwich I had earlier today with the pimento spread. Everything exciting is in the middle. You have your boring piece of bread. That's your desert bus on one side. And then your boring piece of bread. That's your, I'm guessing, Tunisia desert on the other side. And in between, you have stuff like, you know, Scotland. You have stuff like Japan. We're going to fly up Japan probably. You have stuff like, you know, other places in the world. I like to check out maybe like Maine, maybe do like a lighthouse tour. That would be cool. Maybe I'll get a really slow plane, like a really slow plane. Like there's a plane in this game called the Icon. It's a really slow plane, tiny plane. Maybe I'll just go up the coast of Maine looking for lighthouses for 2 hours. Maybe I'll find one and I'll circle. Like, I won't even have a destination. Like, I'll just literally just fly around Maine for 2 hours. Sounds good. You know what I mean? Like, that's going to be the stuff that's in between. And then, you know, you have this as the first episode, and then you have Dune and the desert as the last episode. That's the idea, I think. Nothing solid yet. That's the idea. And I see some rain clouds out there to the north. As I said at the beginning of the stream, I've been playing this all week. It's all been fair weather. I haven't flown through any rain yet.
65 Diamond 21 tree. Los Angeles
I'm sure I can take it. I just haven't done it yet. Now, like I said, this is based on live weather. Hey Google, is it raining in Las Vegas? No, low chance of rain in Las Vegas. Okay. More dry rivers. Man, you know, we spent 45 minutes flying over farmlands. And it kind of blew me away how vast the farmlands were. And now we're just over these rolling hills for another 45 minutes. But it's not blowing me away as much, because these are natural features. I think the thing that blew me away about the farms was these are man-made features. We built that. That's amazing. Like, I'm traveling at a pretty good speed. I don't know what KTS translates to miles per hour, but I'm traveling at a pretty good speed. Maybe 180 miles per hour, maybe 160. And it took me 45 minutes just to get from one side of farm to the other side of farm. That's crazy. And people built that. Okay, we got like a major hill here. We gotta get some altitude. Try not to stall. Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's amazing that we could build something so large. Like, just the sheer vastness. Ford Motor Co. Arizona Proving Ground. What on earth is that? Man, this is a huge... This isn't a hill. This is a mountain. This is a huge mountain. We are over mountains right now. Ford Motor Company. Arizona Proving Ground. Oh, I get it. You know what that is? That's probably where they take, like, their big supercars and set, like, land speed records and stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know what? It's a bit out of my way. I'm not going to do it. I kind of wanted to look at it, but man, I just want to get to Vegas. I want to get to Vegas so I can botch my landing and stop this. Whoa, it's windy. Windy up here. Yeah, I just want to get to Vegas so I can botch my landing already. We're still a ways out. Yeah, I don't know how to fix that. The incorrect heading indicator. Set heading indicator, press blah blah blah. Yeah, that's great. I've poked around the menu. I see nothing that says that, so I'm just gonna let that one go. Man, it is windy out here. Hey Google, is it windy in Las Vegas? It says it's not windy. I'm not exactly in Vegas, am I? Well, I'll tell you what. It's pretty windy 9,000 feet up, wherever I am right now. Man, these mountains are making me feel things. I'm like, uh, this is not an existential crisis like it was with the farms, but it's amazing that I'm moving so fast, but underneath me the mountains are moving so slow. It's like this incredible disparity of speed versus size. Hey, don't go behind the TV. Hey, hey, come here. Don't go behind the TV. Nothing back there for you. Look at these mountains. Hey, cat, look at these mountains. The front of the TV is far more interesting than the back of the TV, I promise. Starting to get to that point. The longest flight I did in this particular version of the flight simulator so far was I started in Key West and I flew along the southeastern edge of Florida to Miami. And what was funny is, and this is a tale of me botching the landing, I decided to trust autopilot, and I set up the autopilot to land in Miami because I wasn't feeling landing yet. Like this was like the second flight I ever did, so I wasn't feeling landing yet. And I get to Miami, I see it coming up. I'm like, okay, autopilot's gonna take it, like take the wheel. You're gonna land this plane. It's gonna be great. And then I go past Miami. I'm like, okay, it's probably getting in the landing pattern. It's got to get in the landing pattern so it can land. Gotcha. But then it keeps going. And before I know it, hey, don't mess with that. Before I know it, I'm, 15 miles out into the Atlantic. And I'm like, hey, this isn't Miami. But fortunately, there actually was a runway out there on some island, so I was able to land just fine. And that's the end of the story. Hey, I didn't say it was interesting. Or maybe I did. I think I actually did say it was interesting. But man, look at this horizon now. Look at what we have now. These are like sweeping dunes. It's a completely different look than what was on the other side of those hills. This is the desert. Like this is your desert right here. Completely different look. And Las Vegas is still going to be a ways out. We got some clouds. More dry rivers. Man, it's filled with dry rivers out here. Mountain Dew. Turbulence. We got turbulence. We have something coming up. A couple of I don't know what that is on the left. I'm at this point where, like, if it's not in my direct path, I don't care. I was all about, like, at the beginning I was like, I'm going to meander around and just kind of poke my head in things, see what I can see. But I just want to keep going, man. I just want to get to where I'm going. I like the way those mountains kind of sweep into the landscape. It's beautiful. Very nice. Hills. Those would be hills. They sweep down like a Bob Ross painting. And now is going to be flat. Pretty much everywhere is going to be flat. So we have something coming up. We have a point of interest coming up. I assume when I get close enough, it'll tell me what it is. Looks like a little neighborhood, actually. Oh, I'm happy. I'm happy to see a little neighborhood again. Hey. Oh, the cats, they're starting to get into that mode. Hey, hey, stop it. Stop that now. Don't pull the wire out of this whole deal, please. I spent too much time. We're about to hit Walnut Creek. I can't be dealing with this. Walnut Creek is right there. I can't be dealing with the cat. Alright, let's buzz Walnut Creek. I don't want to risk it. I want to risk like totally buzzing Walnut Creek, but we'll kind of deviate to the right a little bit and just kind of check it out. Yep, that's Walnut Creek, all right. Highway, got a little highway there. Mechanico. Walnut Creek connects to Mechanico. Alright, we're getting there. Little houses kind of dotting the landscape. Roads. Hey, leave that alone. Oh, jeez. She's still in that kitten mode. She won't leave anything alone. I wonder how long that's supposed to last. Alright, well, that was exciting. We passed a tiny neighborhood. That was the most exciting thing that's happened in like half an hour. Well, that Ford thing, we passed that Ford thing on the left. That was pretty cool. That looks like maybe some kind of abandoned tree farm or something. I don't know what that is. Little neighborhood of like 5 houses down here. Looking out for pools. Y'all gotta have some pools. I think I see, yeah, there's a tiny pool. That one house has a tiny pool. Man, if you're living out here, you gotta have a pool. That's all I'm saying. And now we have like a major... I say major, relatively speaking, a major neighborhood here. This is not a major neighborhood, but compared to the last 45 minutes, this is a major neighborhood. Everybody's spread out pretty good. Yeah, these people live a harsh life out here, man. I don't see like any kind of like entertainment out here. There's no like malls or anything. That's probably like old Barbara's Market over there, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where everybody goes for their feed or whatnot. And then they eat the chickens next month. Turbulence. I feel like I'm super low to the ground. I'm almost 4,000 feet up. Why do I feel so low? And we got these planes, endless planes, and you're going behind the TV again. Hey. Oh, that's a man. All right. We are right on track. Little pockets of neighborhoods here and there. What looks like more dry rivers. trees and lines. Oh, we got something major over there. What is that? It's like a big lake. Again, it's too much out of my way. I'm not going that far out of my way to look at that. I think I can appreciate it from here. That's definitely like a lake, right? Yeah. Gain some altitude. Why not? Should bust into my peanut butter bar and saving it. It's supposed to be a mid-flight thing, but well past that point. Oh, hey, cat! Man, I swear to God, come here. You know, it's the wires behind the TV. I don't really care that she's behind the TV, but she's chewing on things. Can't ever chew on these wires. You know, maybe if I open my peanut butter bar, I'll get her to come out. Let me gain some altitude, because what's going to happen is I'm gonna focus on this wrapper, and I'm gonna lose some altitude. So let's gain some altitude. I could put an autopilot there. I'm going down. Peanut butter. Peanut butter. It's not that important. I do need to get the cat out from behind the TV. Oh, there she is. She's poking her head around. Come here. You've interrupted my stream for the last time, Admiral. Alright, yep, back on track. Little houses. It really doesn't change much out here, does it? Like, even when it does, it still kind of doesn't. It's pretty much all the same. We are getting pretty, like, legitimately close to the airport, though. I mean, I'm not gonna try to figure out exactly how much time we have left, but it's counting down at a pretty good clip. You see those hills way out in the distance, like beyond the haze? Beyond the haze. I bet you Vegas is right over those. Bet you that's it. So we have a long stretch of plains to get through before we get to that point. I bet you that's where it is. I don't know, does that feel like 60 nautical miles away? Or do you think it's going to be past another one? I don't know. I have some of my peanut butter bar. I have it over here for this specific purpose. It's a chewy dips. Quaker. Pretty good, like, you can really taste the peanut butter. They load it up. Pretty good. It says, no artificial flavors. No high fructose corn syrup. That's strange, because I'm pretty sure the peanut butter would have high fructose corn syrup in it. If they're using real peanut butter, then why wouldn't this have corn syrup? Alright, let's see what we got here. Looks like an old foundation. Something was there once. A bunch of roads connecting it. Same there. Look at that little triangle area. Probably an old farmstead that failed. So we're getting back into more interesting geography here. Okay. We got a river, lengthy river coming down from those hills. Ooh, lots of water back there. See that? In between the foreground and the background, we got a big river out there. Too bad we're not flying over it, huh? We have looks like part of that river comes down here, winds its way through the hills, and kind of just stops. Is that right? I've seen that a few times out here. It's crazy that a river just like stops. I guess it just kind of becomes stagnant after a while. I mean, if it doesn't have enough water to flow, then it's just going to be stagnant, right? So, what I thought about 5 minutes ago, looking way past the plains, seeing the hills in the distance, the great distance beyond the haze. We're coming up on those hills. We've gone 10 out of the 60 nautical miles that we were at when I called that. So I was a bit off. But yeah, we're getting there. Man, we started. I don't remember how many nautical miles we had when I started the flight. I feel like it was almost 300. We're down to 50. Frankly, I'm surprised I'm still doing this. I like it though. I kind of like the absurdity of this. I like just seeing the weird stuff around. We got Triangle Air Park over there. That reminds me, we saw like this weird triangle shape in the ground like an hour ago, hour and a half ago, whenever. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff out here, man. Even like when there's nothing, there's still stuff to see. Like that Ford test center. That was cool. Like I didn't anticipate that, yet there it was. It's cool to see that stuff, man. And we're getting into. I'm glad it looks like we're going to be flying over this river after all, and I'm super stoked about that because if it lines up with my path, at least in part, I want to follow it for a while, just to have something other than this dry, godforsaken land. Yeah, I haven't. About 10 minutes ago, we saw, what was it, Chestnut Park or whatever, Peak. I don't remember the name of it, but there's a little neighborhood, and yeah, there's always something to see out here. And yeah, like I said, I love the absurdity of it. I love the idea of let's spend 2 hours doing one thing, remaining focus driven, and we can meander around here and there, left or right, if we see something interesting, but more or less remaining focus driven and doing this crazy thing that it's not going to build an audience. I mean, I've had one person watching me. I don't know who this is because my chat isn't working. But thank you, by the way, for watching this. I'm amazed you're still here. Thank you very much. But this isn't going to build an audience. But I wanted to do it anyway because I think it's interesting. I think it's fun to do the thing that no one else is doing. Maybe some other people are doing this. But I think if you're going to play Flight Simulator, to a general audience. You're going to do this thing where you hit the landmarks, you try doing loop-de-loops in the air, you fly by the pyramids, you see how high you can go, cut your engines. You do all this stuff. I'm not doing any of that. I'm I'm doing this thing where I'm flying from point A to point B in a realistic fashion. Probably lower to the ground than I should be, but it's more interesting down here. And trying to keep it. This is a beautiful shot, by the way. I just happen to notice how beautiful this shot is. But trying to keep it relatively interesting. Thank you for watching. But like I said at the beginning, I consider it a white noise kind of thing. It's the kind of thing that you could put on when you're going to bed, like just a 2-hour flight, and people sleep on planes in real life. Like, that's the thing that you do, you wake up and you're in New Jersey. Congratulations. But yeah, it's like a white noise thing. I feel like it would be something you'd want to put on in the background. And then you hear me talking about my cat being behind the TV and how, 45 minutes ago I opened a Mountain Dew. And 10 minutes ago I opened my peanut butter bar. This is good sleep material. This is what you want. Yeah, there's like no landmarks coming up. See, normally you see like little white dots on the horizon. Actually, there's a couple kind of way out there. I don't even know where those would be in relation to McCarran International. But yeah, normally you see like little white dots around to show you where landmarks are. There's nothing out here. I mean, thankfully we have this river. This is the biggest water source we've seen, I think, since I started the stream. This is probably where all those aqueducts feed off of, I would imagine. I don't think a lot of a lot of big rivers cut through this area, especially not like this. I mean, this is a major river. I don't even know what river this is, but this is a pretty impressive river. It seems to go back a ways. I mean, it goes on quite a ways, and I imagine it probably goes back to where those farming aqueducts were. And you can see like these what used to be tributaries, right? Like water used to come down there. Turbulence. Water used to come down there and feed this river, but it doesn't feed this river anymore. So you wonder what this river's source is. What is this river's source? It looks like it narrows up in the distance out there. So I wonder, I don't think the source would be at the narrow edge. So the source must be coming from back there somewhere. Could be underground. Maybe the source is like an underground thing. I have no idea. No idea. Man, I'm kind of getting the feeling that this used to be incredibly packed with water. Like, I'm kind of getting the feeling like water used to probably be like as high as we are right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm seeing like all this stuff that looks like seafloor. Like, this is what the seafloor looks like. There's like no sharp crags. Like, this is all smoothed off with like by water over like millennia. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all smooth out here, and that's because water had carved it to be that way. It's amazing that, and I'm probably wrong, but you know, it's amazing to think that could be the case. I gotta get some altitude. We're getting into some mountains here. Oh, we're at the 2 hour mark. It's interesting because the when I laid out the flight plan, it said it was going to be 1 hour and 53 minutes. But it's been 2 hours. So I don't know what the deal is with that flight plan. I mean, I've had it hammered down the whole time. The whole time. I mean, you know, like we, it's probably because of the wind, or I did some detours, but nothing major. Like I didn't like go completely out of my way. And all this just so I can botch the landing. You'll see. It'll be great. Yeah, botching landings since you know, 2003. Before that, I guess you want to count Pilot Wings. Pilot Wings is great. Um, People are down on Pilot Wings, but I love Pilot Wings. It's weird to see like the Pilot Wings hate that seems to have popped up over the last 4 years. Like, where's it coming from? So, like, suddenly people think they don't like Pilot Wings? Why is that new? You people have had like 2 decades to figure this out, and you're just figuring it out 4 years ago? Same with Mist. People don't like Mist. Granted, Mist targets a very specific audience. Oh man, this turbulence. Oh my god. Oh my god. Um, but you know, but that's the thing. It targets a very specific audience. If you're not in that audience, you already know it. You already know you're not in the audience for Mist. So why hate on it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't have an opinion on what fishing tackle is the worst because I'm not a fisherman. If you're not into games like Myst, then, you know, move on to something else. Don't dwell on how much you hate Myst. I don't understand that. Man, this turbulence, you know, it's kind of calmed down now, but it's kind of making me nervous. Because, man, all it takes is like one gust and I'm out. I don't like that thought. I don't like that thought, man. I'm not skilled enough at this game to pull out of some major, you know, like wind blowing me sideways kind of stuff. Alright, I'm going to angle to the approach instead of the airport itself. See, here we have one of these features that I think is a fault of the satellite imagery taking images at different times of day or even year. I didn't mean to get into the Friends theme song there for a second. That was an accident. I apologize. Never happen again. Yeah, that's definitely like. I feel like the difference in color there has to do with the satellite imagery. And this is like, oh, hey, Boulder City. Why do I think that that's not the same Boulder City I'm thinking? Boulder City. I don't really. It looks like it's densely packed houses. I'm not flying over there to see, but it looks like densely packed houses, and we have a lake. It looks like we're definitely getting into what would be considered, uh, you know, um, a good place to build a civilization, as evidenced by the fact that Las Vegas is, uh, you know, coming up pretty fast. In fact, we are about the same distance away from the airport that I flew away from Miami into the Atlantic. And that didn't take that long, to be honest. I was in a bit of a faster plane, but it didn't take that long. And I thought that was a lake. What is this? This is more farm stuff, huh? Oh, you know what this might be? Hold on, let me get a closer look. You know what this is? This is a solar farm. That is cool, man. Yeah, dude, that's got to be what this is, right? That is awesome. That's cool. And then there's like where the one IT guy lives to run all of it. That is awesome. Cool. Quite a feat of engineering putting all that out here. And I'm sure it connects to Vegas, right? So, yeah, unfortunately, we're not landing in Vegas at night. I think that would have been really cool to see it all lit up. I miscalculated. It is getting pretty close to sunset, but we're not quite there yet. But that's okay. At least I'll be able to see the runway. You know, that way when I botch the landing, I won't be able to blame it on not being able to see. It'll just be 100% my fault.
Las Vegas approach Diamond 213. Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace.
It's getting real.
Cleared through Bravo airspace Diamond 213.
Oh man, it's getting real. I'm seeing all that civilization down there in Vegas coming up on the left. Well, the airport anyway. Playing Fallout New Vegas at the moment also, so it's it's fun to see it in another game and in a completely different context, by the way, or maybe not so different. This is where all your satellite casinos are going to be. All right. You know, if I can land a plane in Top Gun on NES, I feel like I can land a plane in this. And the thing is, I don't know why I'm nervous about that, because I haven't botched a landing in this game yet. I just know that it's coming. I've made probably about 15 landings in this game, some better than others, but none completely botched. I just have a feeling that one of these days I'm going to botch that landing. Of course it would happen on a stream. Alright. About to land over there at that airport over there. I'm kind of looking for any kind of landmarks. Like that big I probably want to get closer. I don't know, that's the thing about flying is like from the perspective of the plane, you're not seeing things the way that you would see them on land. So everything seems like Everything seems kind of like less impressive, but also more impressive from up here. It's like more impressive because you see the scale of everything, but it's less impressive because like that big casino that everyone knows is just like a little square. There's another baseball field. You know you're getting into civilization when you're seeing baseball fields. I'll have to figure out that incorrect heading indicator thing. I mean, it knows I'm landing here. I set it as my destination. I don't know why it says that. I'll figure all that out over the next week. Let me just check ATC. Yep, McCarran International. So the approach should pop up. I kind of don't know why it hasn't yet. Like I should have rectangles to fly through, and I don't know why that's not the case. I mean, I can see the airport. But give me my rectangles to fly through.
Las Vegas Tower Diamond 2-1 tree is 5 miles east, 4,100 feet with Mike to land. Make straight and runway 26 right Diamond 2-1 tree.
There we go. All right.
Cleared to land runway 26 right Diamond 2-1 tree.
Too fast. My landing gear down. Here we go. I'm trying to slow down. I know it says I'm going too fast, but there's like only so much I can do, man. This wind is making me list to the right, and I don't like it. I have to counter steer. And I am slowing down too, but alright. Here goes nothing. Well, we made it. Let's see about this landing now.
Going around Diamond 2-1 tree.
Smooth, smooth. Ooh. Okay. Hey, I didn't botch the landing.
Going
Amazing.
to 127.9 Diamond 2-1 tree.
I'm going to put on the autopilot to taxi because I do not like taxiing. Yeah. So there you go. That was Tucson, Arizona to Las Vegas, Nevada. And I just got a trophy for completing a nonstop trip of at least 300 miles. So cool. Excellent. That was a resounding success all around. And I'll come up with something interesting to do next week. So if you enjoyed this, thanks for watching. I'm going to go ahead and cut my mic and let the autopilot finish taxiing. So thank you, and I'll see you next time.
Ground Diamond 2-1 tree, request taxi to parking. Taxiing to General Aviation Parking via taxiway Golf 2 Golf Sierra Cross Runway 19 left Sierra Cross Runway 1 left Sierra Hotel Diamond 2-1 tree. Position Diamond 2-1 tree. Roger Diamond 2-1 tree.